You know, I was going to ask you about Bowling for Columbine, about guns.
Yeah.
Now that fascism's coming to America, and their side has all the guns, any second thoughts?
78% of Americans do not own a gun.
Right, and they're all the liberals.
And there's seven.
That's what worries me.
There's 7 million Americans that own 160 million guns. They have stockpiled them. This is the elephant in the room in terms of the discussion of what are we all going to do, putting our bodies on the line. What does that really mean? We'll do it nonviolently, but people are afraid. People were afraid. People who voted for Hillary were afraid that she would win because he told my Second Amendment people this is going to be a rigged election.
Sure.
Get ready, get your guns. He was calling for an armed revolt if Hillary won. And ask yourselves this question: if it'd gone the other way, where he won the popular vote and she won the Electoral College, that civil war would have already happened. And that's what everyone's afraid of. And we don't own the guns, but there's more of us, and I think the military is still with us.
Question.
And they've got bigger guns and more guns, and I hope it never comes to that. But
you think the military is still with us?
It's a huge question.
It's a huge question.
I got that question
because he's the commander-in-chief.
Are you worried that
I got that question from a sitting senator when we were talking about the war in Yemen, and I was trying to talk him into declaring it unconstitutional and getting us out of the damn war. And he sent everybody out of the office, and we talked for a few minutes, and he sort of presented that to me.
Wow.
It was in the terms of maybe a loss, massive loss in the midterms, which I don't think is going to happen now, but let's say it did. And then impeachment proceedings proceeded with haste from both parties. And Trump would then call his legions into the street with their guns. And what would the military do? And frankly, I couldn't answer him.
No.
I said, I don't know.
You can't. I mean, it's worrisome because...
Coming from him, now we have to listen
yes,
to that.
No,
That's a hell of a constitutional
It's worrisome
crisis,
because the military is in general conservative and also because he is their commander-in-chief.
Here's an interesting point, though. Two sociologists did a paper recently called The Casualty Gap. They studied the World War I, World War II, Korea, all the wars we have good data on, granular data on. They found there's always been an imbalance. Poor people die more than rich people. Everybody knows that, I think, who has a brain. But in the last 17 years of war, the gap has grown astronomically. So they wanted to see if that had a political impact. They went and did a very fine poll with controlling factors for other answers and so forth. Came to find out that most of the families who'd lost someone or had someone wounded badly voted for Trump. There's a political result of what we're doing right now, which is letting poor people die overseas or get horribly wounded or come back with post-traumatic stress for all the rest of us.
The Republicans have always had this amazing ability to be in an abusive relationship with their voters. The more they hurt them, the more the voters defend them. Yeah.
I had a Teamster guy in the Midwest. He said to me that Trump groomed economically vulnerable Americans like a pederast. Like,
wow.
Like, what?
Teamster said that?
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Teamsters have changed.
But
very erudite Teamsters.
But I think his vanity in search for love to fill the God-sized hole in his soul, which is not intelligence, but it's as inevitable as water rushing down a hill.
Right.
He will go for that love. And yeah, that's the bait and switch. There's economic anxiety. Oh wow, blaming immigrants works. You know, that turns it up, and then you and I get a tax cut. That's you know, the switch.